Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to preface my remarks by indicating at the close of my remarks and when the debate is concluded on this amendment, I do not intend to call for a vote, largely for the reason that I believe that the ranking member, Mr. Grijalva's amendment, covers much of what I have offered in this amendment. And second, out of respect for my colleague from Accomack, Mr. Riggle, who I believe has brought this matter, as many of us may be wont to do in the future, regarding the economic concerns that exist in his community. I would only add he cited to 16% unemployment earlier today in his presentation on the floor, and I could take him to some places in the congressional district that I'm privileged to serve and show him 40% unemployment in a rural area that happens to be in the same contiguous area as the National Everglades Park. And I'm sure that I could come back here and offer some measures that would allow for Belglade and Clewiston and South Bay and Canal Point to have an opportunity to convert land that is in a national park that was given for that purpose, to leave the reversionary restriction aside and to go about the business of allowing for those counties, Hendry and Palm Beach County and Broward, to be able to utilize the land as they see fit. Land has a market value at some point. And as I understand it, and I stand to be corrected certainly by my good friend and colleague from Washington, the original deed in this property allowed the parcel was no longer used for recreational purposes, that it would revert to the federal government. Well, clearly that reversionary clause is what we are seeking in this particular measure, in this specific one, to overturn. I believe it's wholly unnecessary, but more importantly, I think it sets a bad precedent of involving Congress in consensually entered agreements. As I've explained, the county was granted the land on the condition that it be used as a park. And I understand and understood further from my good friend Mr. Hastings' comments yesterday at the Rules Committee that the land can't even be accessed, if it were not Mr. Hastings and it was Mr. Bishop, that the land cannot even be accessed, and therefore it is important that they make this change. Congress shouldn't grant special treatment on of something as erratic as market value, because the market value of land is always changing, and all I have to do is look at my mortgage and look at how the prices have gone down as they have all over this country. I heard the statement yesterday in the Rules Committee that the land is useless, and I don't think any land is useless. And famous Mark Twain said that we ain't gonna have much more land. Just to paraphrase him, they're not manufacturing it, although I think Singapore may very well take issue with that comment. It's a park, which is important that the federal government conditioned the transfer of the land to the county in the first place on the promise that it would be used as a park. And the county agreed to those terms when it initially received the land, and now, in all due respect, they want to back out. It's not unexpected to want to alter an agreement when conditions surrounding the deal change. In fact, if the county no longer wants to use the land as a park, there are remedies readily available within the federal lands to parks program that it could choose from. Consequently, changing the agreement today because of a shift in market value sets a bad precedent. We don't know what the market value of the land will be a year from now. We don't know what it will be 5 years from now. And we certainly have no idea what it will be 200 years from now. Before you know it, every county and state, and this is why I feel very strongly about this, will be here asking Congress for the same special treatment as soon as the market shifts in their favor. My amendment requires appraisals of the land, and I believe that Mr. Grijalva's does as well, And all I ask is that if we don't want it to be a park anymore, as the county doesn't, then the county should look to the remedies it already has available to them, and I believe the market value will shift. I hope Mr. Riggle is successful. I believe the measure will pass, and with that, I would yield back any time that I may have.
Gentlemen.